The other day, I was posting a video to my YouTube channel when I saw that there is a tab called Inspirations when going to make a YouTube video. Now, I can't lie, I actually had no clue this was here. The only reason I found out is because I by accident clicked on the Inspirations tab. And when I did, YouTube actually uses AI to come up with thumbnails and video titles that you could go over. And the first one here was ranking the top 10 most underrated zombies map, and it actually had a really cool thumbnail. So I thought to myself, could this be a good video? So I brainstormed, and when I was going over maps that I thought that could be underrated, I actually realized that I think a lot of these zombies maps are overrated instead of underrated. It was pretty hard for me to come up with 10 underrated zombies maps. It was almost impossible. In fact, I scrapped it, and that's what we're getting today. I am going to show you guys the top 5 most underrated maps and the top 5 most overrated maps. Like I said, I thought that there was a lot more overrated maps than underrated maps. And now, how exactly did I calculate this data? Because an overrated zombies map and an underrated zombies map is purely up to interpretation. It's my own opinion. Now, what I am using to determine this is what I mostly see from the community. I've watched plenty of YouTubers go over their top zombies maps or putting zombies maps in a tier list. I looked at a couple of them, I did some research, and I also posted my own zombies ranking video that has 4K views. By far my most successful video on the channel, and I got a lot of comments on that video. I believe over 100, so I went through all those comments as well to kind of see what the zombies community consensus is on a lot of these maps. Like I said, this is subjective, so if you completely disagree with me, I totally get it. This is a subjective list. I am doing overrated and underrated based on what I think the average zombies community says about a map, and then what I personally believe about a map. So for example, we all know that Der Eisendrache is top 5. Let's say hypothetically I thought Der Eisendrache was garbage. I would say that Der Eisendrache is an overrated map because most of the zombies community puts it in their top 5, and I disagree with that. That is going to be the basis for this video. Hopefully that makes sense. Now for this video, I'm going to go back and forth between my number 5 overrated map and then my number 5 underrated map, and then just keep on cycling back and forth between overrated and underrated. And I'm also going to start off with overrated, get the negative out of the way first so that we can end on a positive with my number 1 underrated map. Editor CM Freeze here. I forgot to mention that the zombies maps are going to be their original versions. So for example, a map like Verrückt that is in World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 3, I'm only taking the original version into account. So if Verrückt were to appear on this list, it would be the World at War version of Verrückt. Just figured I'd let you guys know that because it is going to come into play later. Now, for my number 5 most overrated map, I actually put Voyage of Despair. I thought Voyage of Despair was a consensus bad map. On my zombies ranking video, I put Voyage of Despair very low, but on a couple of tier lists I saw from high-end zombies community players, I saw them putting Voyage in the middle of the pack. I also got a couple of comments saying that I criminally shafted Voyage of Despair, putting it way too low on my video. And Voyage of Despair is straight up garbage. It's not a good map. I don't know why you would ever play Voyage of Despair. I don't think I've ever once thought in my entire life, outside of maybe the first month that Voyage of Despair came out, I really want to play Voyage of Despair. It's got the worst Easter egg all time in Call of Duty Zombies. I know some people say they like the boss fight. I don't care how good of a boss fight it is. If the steps to get to that boss fight make absolutely no sense and are just absolutely garbage. Then there's also the matter of the fact that, again, I've said this many times, but this is hands down the most disappointing zombies map ever. A map on the Titanic. The potential that this zombies map had was incredible. Massive letdown. I think biggest letdown ever of any single zombies map. We were just coming off the high of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. We get a map on the Titanic. The trailers make this map look incredible, and then the map sucks. It's garbage, I'm sorry. And something else I really hate about Voyage of Despair, really thinking about it, is Voyage of Despair was the very first map that introduced boss spam into Call of Duty. I don't know why, with every single map we get and every single game we get, boss spam gets worse and worse. Voyage of Despair and Black Ops 4 started that. On Voyage of Despair, you had the normal zombies, but then you also had the 4 different elemental zombies, and you had the Stoker, and you had the Blight Father. You were getting Stokers every single round, starting on round 20, plus you would get Blight Fathers every 4 or 5 rounds, plus you would get spammed with these elemental zombies. So Black Ops 4 and Voyage of Despair started this boss fam. That an underwhelming Wonder Weapon. There's just so many bad things about Voyage of Despair. If you like Voyage of Despair, I don't understand that. Please, if you like Voyage of Despair, I want to understand why. I want to understand why you like the boss spam. I want to know why you like this very underwhelming Titanic map. Why you like the trash Easter egg. I want to know. Why do you like Voyage of Despair? It's a bad map. And I have it as my 5th overrated map because, surprisingly, I got a lot of hate for putting it so low on my list. Now we're starting to get into the positives. My number 5 most underrated map is Zetsubou no Shima. Now, when I was, again, doing my research for this, I actually saw a lot of love for Zetsubou. But I always thought that Zetsubou was a very underrated map. For a long time, I know that Zetsubou was a very disliked map in the zombies community. At least when Black Ops 3 was out, Zetsubou no Shima kind of got dogged on. Because in Black Ops 3, you have some absolute straight heat. You have Shadows of Evil, you have DE, you got Gorod, Crovey, the Giant. And then sprinkled in there was Zetsubou no Shima, and a lot of people thought it was the worst map. It also had a really bad launch as well. But going back and replaying Zetsubou, I have fun every single time I go back and play Zetsubou no Shima. Yes, at launch it was a little bad, but then they fixed it. And now Zetsubou no Shima, every single time I go back and play the map, it's incredibly fun. The Easter egg isn't terrible. Yes, it's a map that has a long setup. That's what I constantly see as the biggest flaw to Zetsubou. But nowadays, in zombies, where the setup is so damn easy and so fast, it's honestly nice to go back and actually play a challenging map that has a hard beginning. Because most games, you're just super overpowered now in Black Ops 4, Cold War, and Black Ops 6. You're so overpowered at launch, it's nice to actually have a difficult start to a game with Zetsubou no Shima. It's a breath of fresh air. I love the map. I love how the map looks. Yes, it's more of a dark, gloomy map, but I like that. You're on the island in the middle of nowhere. It's not a bright, static map like some of the maps that you see, which that can be great as well. Look at Ancient Evil. That map looks great with the colors design, but I like how the colors look on Zetsubou. I don't really have too many negative things to say about Zetsubou no Shima. I know that it was very disliked a while ago. Opinions could change now. Like I said, I've seen some positive things about Zetsubou, but also on my video that I did, I saw a lot of people hating me for how high I put Zetsubou no Shima, so I still know that there is some deep hatred for Zetsubou from the community, and I think it is undeserved. Maybe at the time at the launch I could agree with that, but if you go back and play the map now, it is fun, man. I really still enjoy Zetsubou no Shima. I kind of want to boot it up right now talking about Zetsubou. I might ask the boys to go play Zetsubou. It's that good of a map. Now, unfortunately, we're back to the overrated. And coming in at number 4, I have Shangri-La. On my zombies video that I personally made, there were 2 maps that got brought up the most. There were a couple of maps that got a couple of comments, but there were 2 maps that got at least 5 comments on them, with people saying I criminally underrated them, and that was Dead of the Night and Shangri-La. There's surprisingly a lot of Shangri-La enjoyers, and while I don't think the map is bad, I thought I had a very fair placement of it in my ranking video, I think that it is an average to a below average map when compared to the rest of the Zombies maps. I will agree with you, Shangri-La visually is an incredibly stunning map, and the concept for the map is really fun as well. It's got an incredibly fun wonder weapon and an incredibly fun Easter egg. That's kind of where it is. The map layout itself sucks, and I got a couple of comments of people saying I put Shang as low as it is because of how difficult it is. Yes, I understand that Shang is a difficult map with tight corridors, and it is a harder map. I was just complaining about how easy the setup is for some other Zombies maps. Shang is difficult, but it also has a lot of unfriendly player mechanics in it. The fact that the spawn room has 2 traps, spike traps leading out of it, that punish you for leaving spawn is absolutely ridiculous to me. No other map, at least in the top of my head that I can think of, has this trap system that actually hurts you. There's a reason it's a one-time thing, and it's because it's stupid. In solo, it doesn't really hurt you that much. But if you're playing with friends, if one person leaves spawn without telling the other people, it could completely screw everyone else up. If someone goes down in spawn, because someone usually is training in spawn, the person that then has to go get them in spawn goes through the spike trap, activating it, revives the person, and then you're stuck there in spawn, and you can't get out of it, because for the next 10 seconds, you got this spike trap going up. And then don't even get me started on the mud trap that's right there, too. That's also stupid as hell. Hate the spawn room in Shang. Absolutely terrible it's got these 2 traps. And then the pack-a-punch system, again, in solo, the pack-a-punch system is completely fine. But the fact that in co-op you have to coordinate with everybody to turn on pack-a-punch is stupid. And then the person that has to go all the way to the bottom gets absolutely shafted and doesn't even get to pack-a-punch their gun half the time because all the other people are already there pack-a-punching, and by the time they get there, they're going to have no time to pack-a-punch. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So it's just got a couple of mechanics that just make it unfun for the player. A couple of just unfun player mechanics. Like I said, there are a lot of fun things about the map, like that go into the map, like I said, with the Easter egg and the wonder weapon, but the actual map itself, the pack-a-punch, the traps leading spawn, just suck. So yeah, Shangri-La, like I said, it's over here in Overrated because I got a lot of people telling me that it was better than an average map, and I disagree. Again, a couple of cool things about it, but also a couple of just things that really harm the player and just make me want to pick other maps over Shang. Now, this is probably where I'm going to lose a lot of people here. If you haven't clicked off the video yet, you're probably clicking off now. Coming in at my number 4 most underrated map is Tranzit. Now, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. You've probably already clicked off the video. You're probably already leaving a comment. How is Tranzit underrated? Okay, I get it. For starters, like I said, it was pretty hard for me to find underrated Zombies maps, at least in my personal opinion. A lot of the maps that would be considered underrated, I agreed with the community in those maps. There weren't too many maps that I felt got really shafted. The top 3, maybe, but 4 and 5 were difficult for me to put in spots for. So here's Tranzit. I also couldn't put Tranzit at 5 because I wanted you to at least watch like the first 5 minutes of the video. I had to put Tranzit at 4 so you didn't immediately click off. Why is Tranzit underrated? Well, most people would tell you that Tranzit is a bottom 3 map of all time. And Tranzit can be really fun. Yes, Tranzit, objectively, terrible map. There are so many bad mechanics in the map, and the developers of Call of Duty at the time, they came out and said, I think it was Jimmy Solinsky, he came out and said, we were too ambitious. There was too much we wanted to do, and we just didn't have the technology. We all can agree. Everyone wants Tranzit remastered, because we all know that if Tranzit came out now with the technology that they have now, this map would absolutely be insane. But unfortunately, Tranzit came out looking like dog shit. The map's not good. However, the map is fun. I have had so many fun experiences on Tranzit, especially with the boys, having to survive with the bus, the denizens, the random teleportation swaps with the denizens, trying to do the Easter egg and just failing it because it sucks. I can have fun on Tranzit. Tranzit's not a map that physically makes me rage. It has so many stupid mechanics, and you know it's dumb going into it, that you're like, hey, I'm goofing off. I don't care because I know I'm about to have a bad experience, so let's make it fun, if that makes any sense. I don't think Transit's a bottom 3 map. I really don't. There are some maps that I think I would rather get shot in the head than want to play. Like Alpha Omega, good God, Alpha Omega is terrible. Die Rise, good God, falling off a skyscraper to your death, absolutely terrible. There are a couple of maps that are absolute garbage and unfun to play. Transit is garbage, but it's fun. You can have good times on Transit. I have good memories on Transit, too. Transit, I didn't have the Black Ops 2 DLC. I know. I can't say anything when I was a young lad. So I have a lot of memories of me just playing Transit. So there definitely is CM Freeze bias going into this. I played a lot of Transit, and I was a little kid, and I didn't think it was terrible. Then you grow up and you learn, okay, Transit's actually trash. But trash in a fun way. I definitely like Transit the most out of everyone in my friend group. It's incredibly hard to convince anyone to play Transit with me. In fact, I probably haven't played it in 6 months. I know on the RE Productions channel, if anyone even knows what that is, we tried to do the Transit Easter egg and it failed miserably. But I had a lot of fun doing it. Now we're going to the overrated maps here. We're getting into the top 3. Now we're getting into the good stuff. At number 3, if you haven't left yet, you're leaving now. You guys aren't going to see my top 2, and you're not going to see my top 3 most underrated map. I'm losing you here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's start the controversy. The 3rd most overrated map, Riese. Now, we're talking World at War Riese here. Like I said, the game it came out. We need to have a conversation. Nocturne Toten was a map that typically went pretty high in people's rankings. Then the community agreed upon saying, hey, we shouldn't put nostalgia into this. Nocturne Toten's not that good of a map. And then Nocturne Toten started getting lower and lower on people's rankings. Why doesn't that happen with Riese? Riese is typically in a lot of people's top 10. Just tell me with a straight face right now you go play World at War Riese. Somebody in the comment section, tell me that you actively play World at War Riese. Tell me you've played World at War Riese in the last month. Actually, Black Ops 6 has come out. That came out in November. It's January. Tell me in the last 3 months you've played World at War Riese. I want to hear it. Who goes and plays World at War Riese? You don't, because there are so many better options than World at War Riese. Yet, people still put it in their top 10. The Giant, so much better than World at War Riese. I understand that it introduced a lot of fun mechanics, but World at War Riese also literally had a glitch where you would lose your Juggernaut if you got the Wunderwaffe. Are we just going to forget that? There was Black Ops 1 Riese, which was a lot better, and then obviously there's the Giant. People still put Riese in their top 10. And I'm not saying it's a bad map, but you're going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that World at War Riese is a top 10 zombies map, and that you've played it in the last 3 months? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Maybe one person can sit here and tell me that watches this video. It really depends how many people watch it. If 100 people watch this video, no one's going to tell me they've played World at War Riese in the last 3 months. If 1,000 people watch the video, no one's going to tell me that World at War Riese they've played in the last 3 months. Maybe if I break my record of 4,000 views, one person will, but I highly doubt it. Tell me you've played World at War Riese. Tell me that you would right now have a fun, maybe you'd have a fun experience, but a top 10 experience if you went and played World at War Riese? Like I said, bullshit. Overrated map. I don't know why it hasn't gotten the Nocturne Toten treatment yet, but it's still somehow in the top 10 for most people's list and considered high A tier. Cap. Bullshit. Now, we're going to the underrated maps, and at number 3, I have 5 and Classified. They're technically different maps, but I didn't want to include both 5 and Classified on this list. I'm putting 5 in here, but I would also say Classified's underrated as well. I just didn't want to introduce both into this list. I felt like that would kind of be a cop-out if I did both 5 and Classified. So I do just want to let you guys know that Classified would also be in here, but I chose to go 5 over Classified. Now, why 5? 5 is a map that kind of just gets dogged on, and I get it. I do get it. But man, there's so many fun experiences I have had on 5. Again, I also didn't have the DLC for Black Ops 1 when I was a little kid, so I only had Kino der Toten and 5 were my only 2 maps. Not until I became a teenager, or not until I reached high school. It was either 8th grade or high school that I got the DLCs. So just little young me, I only played Kino, and I only played 5, and 5 was rough. So was Kino. I was that young. Kino was difficult for me too, but 5 was rough. And 5, really fun map. I have a lot of fun experiences. I know a lot of people hate on 5. I think 5 is the definition of a map getting hated on because people think it's too difficult. People all the time tell me that when I rated Shang too low. People told me that when I rated, I think Dead of the Night too low. People are saying, oh, you just don't like these maps because they're too difficult. If anything, I think 5 gets that treatment more than any other map. People just absolutely dogged and hated on 5, and I don't get it. 5 has arguably the best guest cast we've ever had. Like, that's awesome. You get to play as a president of the United States. 2 presidents, technically. You get to play as Kennedy, and you get to play as Nixon.
As I like to think, from the long history of the world, that there are only a few generations.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
It's just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
It's just a storm, Dick. The most iconic, one of the most iconic zombies lines of all time. The Wonder Weapon, deservedly dogged on. Ass. The Winter's Howl, straight ass. But there's a lot of fun things about it too. The Eminem Easter egg song, heat. I also kind of liked Yuri and the Pentagon Thief. It was an interesting take, man. Just like whenever Yuri spawned in, you had to hard focus him, and it made for a really fun and challenging experience as a kid. And it still does make for a fun and challenging experience. I can go boot up 5 right now and have a fun time being like, oh shit, Yuri spawned in. We need to instantly focus on him. And you got a nice little reward too if you killed Yuri without him. I believe it was either a free perk or a free bonfire sale if you killed a Yuri without him touching you. I forgot exactly which one, though. It's one of the 2. I really like 5. I know a lot of people dislike 5. I don't think it's the best zombies map of all time, but I'm talking about underrated. Most people say 5's trash. I think 5 is at least an average map. It would at least be in that B tier for me. A lot of people have it in C and D. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Number 2 most overrated zombies map is Citadel des Morts. The map just came out, and I already made a video on it, which you guys should go check out, where I named Citadel des Morts the most overrated zombies map of all time. And then I really thought about it, and it's only the second most overrated zombies map of all time for me. And I think Citadel des Morts has also been starting to get a little bit of heat as well from when it initially came out. But when it initially came out, people were saying Citadel des Morts had the potential to be S tier. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You're gonna sit here and tell me that Citadel des Morts can live up to Der Eisendrache? Can live up to Origins? Can live up to Mob of the Dead? Absolutely not. Not even in the same ballpark. Not even on the same planet. Not even never in my life should I hear S tier and Citadel des Morts in the same sentence. If Der Eisendrache and Citadel des Morts are in the same paragraph, ass should be next to Citadel des Morts. Citadel des Morts is a decent map. It's a fine map, but it has so many flaws. Like I said, I've made a long video on it. I would just go check that video out if you want an explanation of why I think Citadel des Morts is the second most overrated zombies map in depth analysis. But I just don't like the Wonder Weapon, and the amalgams on the map just suck. There's more reasons too. Those are the 2 big ones off the top of my head. I don't want to spoil much of the video if you do go choose to watch it. Citadel des Morts, nowhere near S tier. Incredibly overhyped. I think people played it for 1 week, thought it was amazing. It's not. It's not bad, but nowhere near S tier. Now, coming in at my second most underrated map is I have Revelations. Now, I'm not saying Revelations is a top tier map by any means. I'm not saying Revelations is top 10, right? I'm not saying that. What I am saying is most people have Revelations as a bottom of the barrel map. They have it as average at best. Most people have it below average. I got some slack for putting Revelations as high as I did. I know I got a couple of comments on it on my video. Looking back at it now, man, I really wish the storyline just ended with Revelations. I really did. I wish Black Ops 6 was just all chaos, because the storyline now just is a complete mess and absolute garbage. And at the time, we weren't happy with how Black Ops 3's story ended. But good God, did it get so much worse than that? And I think Revelations is a perfect example of be careful what you wish for. We wished for more of Richtofen and Nikolai and Dempsey and the original cast of characters, and good God, did they screw that up with Black Ops 4. And now they're continuing to screw up the story. The story gets worse and worse with each game. Vanguard story, trash. Modern Warfare 3 story, good God, terrible. Cold War story, meh. Black Ops 6 story, going nowhere. It's like, I know I'm talking about not really the map, I'm talking about the story. I'll get into the map, but I know a lot of people hated Revelations because of the story, and Revelations and Black Ops 3 story is 1,000 times better than anything we've gotten since it, at least from Treyarch. All the other games just straight ass, man. Like, straight ass. It's unfortunate how bad they've butchered the story. So I really wish it did just end at Revelations. I really wish it did. And Revelations at the time, a lot of people didn't like Revelations. Because a lot of people said, oh, well, Revelations is just a bunch of maps meshed together. It's not an original map. Good God, again, look at where we're at now. With how many maps in a row did we get that were remakes in Black Ops 4? And in Cold War with all the used assets that they just used for that game as well. It's just tough. It's just tough. And now even in Black Ops 6, there's rumors that the Tomb, the new map that's going to come up, is just going to be a bunch of shit imported from Warzone. You know, so it's fun times. Revelations, you know, at least Revelations was unique at its time. And it still is, in a way, unique, because Revelations is just a bunch of maps meshed together. But I like the Easter egg. It's a fun Easter egg. I like that you're overpowered, but in Black Ops 3's systems, overpowered. Nowhere overpowered in today's age, where you have all this shit at launch. Or you can get all this shit right away, and you can go to round 100 easily. In Revelations, it was easy, but for Black Ops 3. And a lot of people didn't like that as well. But again, hindsight, right? Revelations is just so much better than we give people credit for. A lot of complaints that we have now, where the game's too easy, the story sucks. All these things we said about Revelations, it just got so much worse. And it's like, man, I wish I appreciated Revelations more. I really did. I really wish I appreciated Revelations a lot more. It's a map I played a lot. I think I was trying to speedrun the Easter egg for Revelations there for a while. I forgot why I was playing Revelations so much, but I was for like a month straight about a year ago, and I had a fun time doing it. Like I said, I really liked the Easter egg. I understand why the zombies community hated it, but once you actually figured out that first step, I like the Easter egg. I like Black Ops 3's engine. I don't have a bad time going and playing Revelations, and I don't think it deserves the hate that it got. Like I said, I really wish I appreciated Revelations a lot more than I actually did. Alright, baby. We're getting to the gold now. The most overrated and underrated zombies map. We're starting with the most overrated zombies map of all time, in my opinion. Ascension. I don't like Ascension. Straight up. I don't like Ascension. Most people like Ascension. I see Ascension in A tier in a lot of maps, and Ascension, at best, in my opinion, is C tier. So that's 2 full tiers below. I think Ascension's low C tier, at best, middle of C tier. Ascension's not fun at all. Ascension isn't fun. The monkey rounds are so stupid. Treyarch introduced Stamina Up on this map. Arguably one of the funnest perks ever. They also introduced PhD on this map. Again, another really fun perk. They introduced 2 perks on this map. I don't know if that's ever been done before, besides obviously when they introduced the original 4 perks. But you introduced 2 new perks that are a lot of fun in PhD and Stamina Up. I guess Stamina Up's not fun, but it's a crutch perk. It's not a crutch perk, but it makes your life a lot easier, right? It's a good perk, all right? It's a good perk. And then you introduce a mechanic that takes away your perks. So you're going to give us 2 new perks, but then introduce a mechanic that takes away your perks. I understand that if you kill all the monkeys, you then get a free perk, but then that's just another perk you have to defend. And if you're playing solo, you're always going to defend Quick Revive. Literally, the high round strategy is to only have Quick Revive and Juggernaut, because you can't go defend the other perks. It's so stupid. It's literally so dumb how you're going to introduce 2 new perks but then introduce the dumbest mechanics that makes your perks go away. And then your reward is just another perk you have to defend on the next monkey round. It's so stupid. Not to mention the map itself is pretty damn small, and you're just going to do the same thing every single time, where you're just going to either train at Pack-a-Punch or you're going to train at one of the teleporter locations. That's it. And you want to talk about originally easy. Ascension is the definition of the first real easy zombies map. Literally just go train, like I said, at Pack-a-Punch, or the goated one is go train at the launch station next to PhD, or in Black Ops 3 Widow's Wine, but like I said, I am doing original, so Black Ops 1 next to PhD. Yes, it is fun getting PhD and then being able to jump off the stairs there. Again, then you have to go defend 3 perks. Yes, I understand you can just go rebuy your perks, but do you want to constantly have to keep on forking up 3k, potentially, 6k every 5 rounds, every 4 rounds? No, it's stupid. Like I said, Ascension's just not fun to me. I don't understand the appeal in Ascension. At the time, it was very unique when it first came out. I'll give it that. I'm sure at the time it was a lot of fun. But going back and playing Ascension, and Black Ops 1 Ascension at that, it's like, I'm not having a good time. I'm not having fun. I'm having, at best, an average zombies experience. At best, an average zombies experience. And people sit here and tell me that it's an A-tier experience. When I think of A-tier, especially top of A-tier, I think of Gorod Krovi. Nowhere near Gorod Krovi. Not even the same planet. Like I said previously, Citadel de Morts, Ascension, not even the same planet as Gorod Krovi. When I think of other A-tiers, I think of Buried. I'd much rather go play Buried than Ascension. I think of Moon. I'd much rather go play Moon than Ascension. If we're going to stick to Black Ops 1, I'd much rather go play Moon. I'd much rather go play Kino. Hell, I've already mentioned this video, I'd much rather go play 5 than I'd go play Ascension. Much rather go play Call of the Dead. Black Ops 1 has some straight heat bangers. Ascension is probably dead last on that list. Either Ascension or Shang. But I've played Ascension a couple of times to try to prove this, and every single time I play Ascension, I don't have fun. I do not have fun playing Ascension. Period. So it might even be worse than C tier, because I don't even have fun playing the map. It's not a fun experience for me, and people have it in A tier, which is almost perfect. That's 85 to 90% good zombies map right there. And Ascension for me might not even be 50% good. So yeah, Ascension, most overrated zombies map. It seems to be loved by the community for the most part, and I just don't have a good time playing Ascension. And then coming in at the most underrated zombies map, if you know me, you know what I'm saying right now. It's D Maschine, baby. D Maschine is the most underrated zombies map, and I will stand on this ground. You know that meme where it says, what hot take has you like this? And it's one guy standing up and a bunch of swords around him. That's me with D Maschine, baby. D Maschine is a top 10 zombies map of all time. In my rankings list, I actually had it exactly at 10, and it still to this day would be in the top 10 list. Now, what do I like about D Maschine so much? D Maschine is hands down the best Cold War map. A lot of people say that it's Mauer der Toten. That's cap. While Mauer is still a good map, do not get me wrong, I'm not going to slander on Mauer. Mauer is a good map. D Machine's the best map in Cold War. D Maschine is the best map in Cold War, and I will die on this hill. Why do I like D Maschine so much? There's actually one main reason that I like D Maschine. There's one main reason, and it's the only map in God knows how long where we haven't had boss spam in. You look at every other Black Ops Cold War map and Black Ops 6 map. Boss spam is at an all-time high, and it is so unbearable and so unfun. D Maschine is the only map in this new system that we've gotten that does not have boss spam. Firebase Z has boss spam, Mauer der Toten has boss spam, Forsaken has boss spam. Don't even get me started on Outbreak. Vanguard is trash. Don't even get me started on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, which again is all boss spam. And then Terminus, Liberty Falls, and Citadel de Morts, boss spam. D Maschine is the only new era of zombies map, which I would consider Cold War and everything after Cold War, to not have boss spam. What do I mean by this? D Maschine has the base zombie, it has a Hellhound round, which is Plague Hounds in this game, and then it has the main boss, the Megaton. That's it. And when you look at some of the best maps of all time, that is the perfect formula for a map. That's the perfect formula. The base zombies, a dog or something else that stimulates a dog round, and then just one boss zombie. Let's look at the best maps of all time. You got Die Maschine and Origin. You got Der Eisendrache and Origins that both follow this. I guess Origins doesn't have dogs. It just has zombies and the Panzer, which again, that's completely fine. You then have, Mob of the Dead, which again, just has zombies, just has dogs, and just has Brutus. Some of the best maps of all time. Just has zombies, sometimes a dog round or a max ammo round, and then your basic tough zombie that's hard to kill. I know some people complain about the Megaton. I would much rather have the Megaton spawn in every 4 to 5 rounds than everything else that we got. So you're going to complain about how difficult the Megaton is, but you're not going to complain that on Mauer Toten you have Panzers, Disciples, and I'm actually blanking on the other boss zombies, but I know that there are some mimics in there that spawn in as well. Oh, the Mangler! How could I forget? So you're not going to complain that all this crap is in the map. But you are going to complain that Die Maschine has the Megaton. Miss me with that. Absolutely miss me with that. I love that it's just classic zombies. And it's the last time that we've had the classic goated zombies formula. Now we get boss spam in every single map. And to compensate for that, the game makes you incredibly overpowered. Die Maschine is also a map where I actually don't feel incredibly overpowered. Like mostly every single map now. Now, Die Maschine doesn't do the best job at that. Now, let me get that to the point. It doesn't do the best job at that. But at least I don't got all these damn boss zombies that I gotta kill. I can actually have a fun time on Die Maschine and just kill zombies. I can't do that in any other new-gen game or new-gen map because I have to focus on 100 different boss zombies. And I gotta focus on, oh, do I have a mutant injection? Do I have a chopper gunner? Do I have the wonder weapon? Die Maschine's the only map where I'm not forced to use the wonder weapon, the Die Maschine. I still use it sometimes, but that's for fun. Every other map, I feel like I am forced to use the wonder weapon. This is the only map where I feel like I can actually use a damn gun off the wall and still have a good time. I love the layout of Die Maschine. I love the Easter egg and the simplicity of the Easter egg in Die Maschine. I really like the wonder weapon. I like how they added the 4 elemental upgrades and how they're pretty easy to get. It's a fun map. I have basically no complaints about Die Maschine. There are a couple. I can't complain. The armor station, there only being one armor station at the bottom of the map, that's kind of an L, definitely. The challenges also sucking and definitely not being as good as the challenges in the rest of the Cold War games. I can agree, that's an L too. There are some things that Die Maschine does wrong. However, I think that the Die Maschine doing the classic zombie setup is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. Best map because I can just go have a fun experience. I can talk to my friends. I don't have to sweat my nuts off and focus about having to deal with a bunch of different boss zombies every single damn round. And I can actually have a fun, enjoyable time. So anyways, guys, that has been my list. Just to quickly recap, for the overrated maps, we have Voyage of Despair at 5. We have Shangri-La at 4. Der Riese, World of War Edition at 3. Citadel des Morts at 2. Ascension at 1. And then for underrated, we got Zetsubou no Shima at 5, Tranzit at 4, 5 at 3, that was confusing to say, Revelations at 2, and Die Maschine at 1. I'm sure that this list is something that not a lot of people will agree with. I am sure that I have ruffled some feathers. And that's exactly what I want to do. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I mostly make zombies content or video game content and football and sports content. If that's something you want to see, I would really appreciate you subscribing. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers because once I do that, I can actually make money off of this. And even if it's just, $1, it will at least incentivize me to make videos instead of just making this just for fun. Now, I still enjoy doing this for fun, but who doesn't want to make some extra dough? Who doesn't want to make some extra money? You know what I'm saying? And if I make more money, I can make better, higher quality videos. But, of course, this was already incredible quality, I'm sure some of you will realize. Yeah, incredible quality, my ass. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, and peace out.